Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. Old Man Winter flips the calendar to November in western Montana this evening, covering much of the region in snow and making tricky travel over the passes.
And that's not going to go away anytime soon. Our storm tracker weather team says these wintry conditions will stick around for at least the next few days. Kalispell looked like a winter wonderland today. A winter storm warning and a winter weather advisory remain in effect for northwest Montana, especially in places like Glacier Park, Whitefish, and the Swan Mountain Range. For the latest now, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost in the Storm Tracker Weather Center.
Yeah, things are going to be a little dicey out there on the roadways as we head into tomorrow morning. With that said, if you're going to bed right now and you see snowflakes falling, it will likely stay snow overnight tonight until at least tomorrow afternoon, especially if you're along and south of Interstate 90. We have the potential to switch over to rain once again, but in northwest Montana, we will likely remain all snow as our next round of moisture heads in. Right now, this is round one, kind of dying down just a bit. We continue to see that larger swath heading across west central Montana. That'll put down a little bit of snow here for the next couple of hours there. Winter storm warnings, though, now out for northwest Montana as we see an even bigger push. More details coming up.
Well, as that winter storm hit northwest Montana overnight, it was a slick morning commute for drivers, and that kept the Montana Highway Patrol pretty busy today.
And with more snow expected, MTN's Nicole Miller spoke with Flathead County Public Works about how plow crews will keep up.
The winter storm moving through northwest Montana has brought winter weather, causing slick roadways. The Montana Highway Patrol responded to more than a dozen crashes and slide-offs Wednesday, as the county braces for more snow to further worsen road conditions.
Slow down, that's the big thing. Slow down, take a little more time to get to your destination is the most important part.
David Prunty, Flathead County Public Works Director, says the county road and bridge department is ready.
Our fleet is, switched over to our winter operations. The dump trucks have their plows and sanders installed. Our motor graders have their wings.
By the time you wake up tomorrow, Flathead County Road and Bridge will already have been working for a couple hours to clear the roads. They will have all of their heavy equipment out working to clear those roads as quickly as possible.
We're going to have a 5:30 start tomorrow morning. Normally we start at 7:30, but on storm days like this, we get out at 5:30. Our goal is to get out before traffic starts for the most part. And get our more traveled routes, our bus routes, is done as much as we can. We can't obviously get them all done between 5:30 and 7:30 roughly when people really start their commute to work, but we get a good start on them for sure. So this storm's a pretty good one to start right out of the gate from what it appears. If we get 6 to 10 inches in the next 48, 70, 72 hours, something like that, it appears. So that's a pretty good one to start with, and that's where people just again slow down. Give yourself a little more time getting to your destination.
Reporting in Kalispell, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
It is also that time of year when the falling leaves become orange, yellow, and red piles lining our city streets.
Now, there are many ways to clear your lawns of dead leaves, but what's the most effective way to accomplish your fall cleanup? MTN's Eric Clemens couldn't leaf well enough alone, and he found out.
Halloween has come and gone. Now everyone's favorite holiday is just around the corner, the city of Missoula's Leaf Pickup Day. Most Missoulians tend to rake their leaves into piles lining the streets, waiting for the city's leaf collection program to do its thing. Others load them into big festive bags. In both cases, they end up going to the compost heap. With so many leaves meeting that fate, they must make great compost, right?
Actually, leaves don't compost very well. They're just a high carbon, have a high carbon content, and so they are a little difficult to compost.
So what's the best way to take care of your leaves? Well, if you're like me and you haven't raked yet, there's good news. You don't have to. Instead, pick up a mulching blade for your mower, make a couple of passes over your lawn, and it'll chop the leaves super finely. After that, just leave them.
I've been doing that for the last few years. Once you run over them with a mulching blade, they're just really tiny, fine particles, and then they just add nutrients to your lawns. I think that's the best way.
So leaves can be mulched, but what about that pumpkin turning to mush on your porch? Jack-o'-lanterns are a little too messy to be mulched, but unlike leaves, those festive orange fruits actually make great compost, and Garden City Compost will take them for free. In Missoula, Eric Clements, MTN News.
Now, the leaf collection program runs intermittently until mid-December. The big thing is, when does it snow? And once you get that first major snowfall, it's all over with.
This is true. Get your stuff done now. All right, the Missoula Redevelopment Agency Board is recommending the City Council ink a package of agreements for construction of an $80 million downtown hotel and conference center.
After 5 years of work, MRA Hotel Fox partners in the city of Missoula have agreement for a 200-room hotel and parking garage, but the largest conference center in the region.
We have a choice with this facility. It's going to happen eventually. Somebody's going to build a conference center to attract these larger events. Do we want to put it out on reserve? Or do we want it to be in our downtown? Do we want it to be something that will enhance the things that we cherish about our community? Or do we want it just to be another conference center? That could be in, no offense, I grew up in the Midwest, could be in Columbus, Ohio.
The presentation this afternoon explained how the city would help by funding construction of the 60,000 square foot conference center, while Hotel Fox's management team would operate it. The 7-story hotel would be topped with 3 stories of private condominiums and an underground parking facility with over 400 spaces. The designs, still being refined, include restaurants and shops, capped with a great hall, which could handle a set-down dinner for 1,000 people. The idea is to combine public-private resources, attracting up to 100,000 visitors per year, benefiting all of Missoula hospitality industry, unlike a sole private developer.
They would fill their hotel and they would stop. So they build a big enough conference center to put on a wedding and have 200 keys rented and they're done. This is a complete game changer because it fills our hotel up by many times.
And that is to float all boats, if you will. And that is, the other hotels would definitely benefit from this. This is not as close to competition as they might have seen in the past.
The city would commit tax increment financing from the Riverfront Triangle Urban Renewal District and use parking revenue to help pay for the garage. It's still expected to be 18 to 24 months before all the plans are finalized.
Faced with rising housing costs, Whitefish leaders are developing a strategic housing plan to promote affordable housing.
MTN's Jack Ginsburg reports the aim is to help those making $40,000 to $75,000 per year to have their own place in the growing town.
In 2016, the city of Whitefish surveyed the area to see what the housing needs were through the Whitefish Area Housing Needs Assessment. The newly released Whitefish Strategic Housing Plan took those needs into consideration to build a plan for the future. The plan covers everything involved in the approach to the future of housing in Whitefish, from the basic planning to housing tools available and recommended implementation strategies. City Manager Adam Hammett says this plan has been in the process for a long time and is pleased that the city is addressing this important issue.
Well, this plan has been a long time coming. I mean, this is an issue that has plagued cities around the country. It's one that we've had to deal with over the last couple of decades, and we've made some strides, but just not enough.
The housing assessment done last year estimated that the city was down 660 houses from where it should be and could be close to 1,000 by the year 2020. Hammett says the new plan gives the city an opportunity to work towards a problem before it grows any bigger.
So what we were doing is great, but it's just not enough. So this plan is trying to get us to a point where we can start chewing away at the problem.
One of the main issues that the plan is attempting to address is the struggles of local businesses that are having trouble finding workers because of the housing prices.
Whitefish is a growing community, and we want to make sure that we grow wisely, and making sure that we have housing where the workforce can live right here close and avoid some of those commutes is very important. It's very important to a healthy community.
Although this plan is very detailed, Hammett says it's really just the backbone to the future of housing in Whitefish.
One thing to realize on this plan too is this is actually a plan to make more plans. It does kind of lay out some of the strategic initiatives and direction that we want to go, but there's still a whole lot more work to be done.
The public work session held on Monday will run from 5 to 7 p.m. at City Hall. In Whitefish, Jack Ginsburg, MTN News.
Coming up after the break, Aaron's back with the latest on our wintry weather and what you need to know if you have travel plans the next couple of days.
And later, the state Supreme Court hands down a ruling on a ballot initiative regarding victims' crime rights. We'll have more on that and what it means coming up on KPAX.